And Team USA, it is going to take Team USA losing a game before they change this, by the way. And they didn't lose in the Olympics last year. They did not lose. Had they lost in the Olympics last year, then, okay. They wouldn't be doing this anymore, but they didn't lose in the Olympics.
It's going to take a loss before they change anything. That's the reality of Team USA basketball, and it's exactly why we're about to watch the same mistakes get repeated in 2025. Because here's what nobody wants to admit. They almost lost the gold medal in Paris, and the reasons why are about to become very relevant again.
If you guys don't know why they nearly lost in the Olympics last year, not even just in the finals, they were starting games getting destroyed. They were getting destroyed. Like, if you didn't see their games, they were getting killed. Like, they would play games and they would start off because teams would just go.
Those weren't close games because of bad luck. France wasn't getting hot from three and catching breaks. They had a strategy, and it was brutally simple. Target Chelsea Gray on defense, attack her relentlessly, and watch Team USA scramble. In the gold medal game, Chelsea Gray was a -8. The United States was down 6 points in the first quarter. France was the better team for 38 minutes of that 40-minute game.
What, Chelsea Gray? Teams on the offensive end would just target Chelsea Gray. They would just target her. And then when it came to the other end, Chelsea Gray really struggled. In the final, by the way, Chelsea Gray was a -8. They started Chelsea Gray, and oh yeah, they're down 6 points in the first quarter. Like, France were the better team up until about 2 minutes to go in that game. Chelsea Gray, they targeted her. They cooked Chelsea Gray. Sabrina Ionescu couldn't really get on the floor either. It was Kelsey Plum.
Watch what happened in those opening quarters throughout the tournament. Teams would come out, identify Chelsea Gray as the defensive liability, and just go at her possession after possession. She couldn't stay in front of guards. She got cooked on switches. And this wasn't some surprising development. Chelsea Gray hasn't played point guard for the Las Vegas Aces in years. The Aces moved her off the position because teams in the WNBA were doing the exact same thing. Every playoff series, opposing coaches would draw up actions specifically designed to get Chelsea Gray in isolation situations on defense.
It was the move of Kelsey Plum and Jackie Young into the 1-2 that won it for them. Kelsey Plum was a big-time game changer. Kalia Copper, who wasn't on the floor, by the way. They weren't even playing Kalia Copper until later on in the tournament, and she was one of their main players in the final. Aja Wilson, obviously, like, terrible in the first half. She did come alive in the second half. But they nearly lost the final for no other reason than complacency. They didn't play Taurasi or Jewel Lloyd. At the same time, they nearly were losing early by playing Taurasi.
So, how did Team USA turn that final around? They made substitutions. Kelsey Plum came in and changed the game. Kalia Copper, who hadn't been playing significant minutes earlier in the tournament, became crucial in the second half. Jackie Young moved into the primary ball-handling role. These weren't minor adjustments. These were fundamental changes to who was on the floor and what positions they were playing. And it worked. But here's the problem: none of those lessons are being applied to roster construction for 2025.
Team USA are sentiment over fit and ability, everything. They are sentiment over everything. That is the most important thing, is what you did 5 years ago. So I'm telling you this right now. Chelsea Gray, despite not playing point guard for her own team for years, like, they moved one of the biggest flaws.
Because Team USA operates on sentiment, not fit. It's about what you did 5 years ago, not what you can do today. When Chelsea Gray was in her prime, genuinely one of the best point guards in WNBA history, she still had to come off the bench for Team USA. The starting point guard was Sue Bird at 41 years old, not Sue Bird in her prime when she was an all-time great. Sue Bird at 41 when she was clearly past her peak. Players like Courtney Vandersloot, who were better at that specific moment, didn't make the roster. That's how Team USA makes decisions.
Because, if you guys don't know, Chelsea Gray, in her prime, When Chelsea Gray was at her best, and by the way, Chelsea Gray at her best was one of the best point guards of all time. When Chelsea Gray was at her best, the corpse of Sue Bird at 40 years old was the was the starting point guard. That is who started point guard. It was the corpse of Sue Bird. It was a player that was not even remotely close to being the the best player at her position. And Chelsea Gray still to come off.
Now let's talk about what the optimal lineup should actually look like for these qualifier games. You've got 3 players who can all handle the ball, all play off ball, all create shots, and all fit together perfectly. Jackie Young, Caitlin Clark, and Paige Bueckers. That's your backcourt. That's your 3-headed monster. You've got size with Bueckers at 6 feet. You've got elite defense with Young. You've got the best offensive engine in women's basketball with Clark. And critically, you've got positional flexibility. Look at the competition in these qualifiers. Spain is the toughest matchup, and their best player is Megan Gustafson, coming off an Achilles tear. Team USA isn't facing some overwhelming defensive challenge that requires veteran savvy. They need basketball players who can execute. They don't need to bring out a bunch of athletes and try to overwhelm teams with speed. They need guards who can shoot, pass, and make decisions.
Bench. There were players like a Courtney Vandersloot. Actually, no, she played for Hungary. But there were players that didn't make the squad over Sue Bird. And by the way, Sue Bird at her best, obviously, one of the best point guards of all time. That being said, Sue Bird's best was not when she was 41 years old. Like, she was 41, and they were starting her. They were starting her at 41 years old. So they're going to go and do the exact same thing when it comes down to it with Caitlin Clark. They are going to have her sitting her ass on the bench because playing Chelsea Gray at a position she doesn't even play anymore for her own club is going to be.
But that's not what's going to happen. Chelsea Gray is going to start at point guard, a position she doesn't even play for her own team anymore. Kalia Copper is going to start. Despite the fact that both the Chicago Sky and the Phoenix Mercury got worse when she was on the floor. The Mercury's offensive rating dropped with Copper in the lineup. The Sky's performance declined after she left. These are measurable facts, and yet she's guaranteed a starting spot over players like Paige Bueckers, Caitlin Clark, or Sonia Citron as a 4th or 5th option.
Be more important. And by the way, Caitlin's not going to be the only player that gets screwed by this. The reality is, there should be some form of a 3-headed monster, as in like your 3 players who can all play point, all play off the ball. Your 3-headed monster should be your starting 5 of Jackie Young, Caitlin Clark, and Paige Bueckers. That should be your starting 5. No ifs, ands, or buts about it, regardless of what you're running. That is your starting 5. Just in terms of size, you've got size, you've got defense, and you're coming up against, like, you don't necessarily need you don't need to bring a bunch of athletes out there. You just need basketball players because you're not playing that good Spain. Like, it is what it is. Spain are okay.
Then there's Derica Hamby at the 4. If you've watched the Los Angeles Sparks play the Chicago Sky over the last 2 years, you've seen Angel Reese absolutely dominate Hamby. It's not close. Reese has out-rebounded her, outscored her in the paint, and made her look slow on switches. Hamby is going to start for Team USA. Aaliyah Boston is starting at center basically by default because she's the only player on the roster who resembles a true 5, especially after Brianna Stewart got injured. They're bringing Satu Sabally as the backup center, which tells you everything about how they're thinking about roster construction. Here's what makes this fascinating. Team USA could actually start Chelsea Gray at the 4, and it would work against these opponents. Gray is a fantastic post defender. We've seen her lock up Natasha Howard, who routinely destroys players like Derica Hamby, but struggles against Gray's positioning and strength. Against France, Gray could legitimately guard Dominique Malonga in the post. The size disadvantage wouldn't matter because of Gray's defensive IQ and lower body strength.
But, like, I'm sorry, is Maria Conde coming off an Achilles tear? I'm not worried about Caitlin Clark guarding her. Like, I'm not worried about a lot of these matchups. I'm not worried about Paige Bueckers guarding Alba Torrens, even though Torrens is taller. I'm not worried about that matchup. At the end of the day, Team USA have a very, very big advantage in these qualifier games. They're not going to, other than Spain, they're going to kill everybody. But it is going to be an interesting one because I think that no matter how bad they are, Chelsea Gray is still going to start. I think Jackie Young and Kalia Copper are guaranteed to start. And by the way, the Mercury got worse when Kalia Copper.
So imagine this lineup: Caitlin Clark, Paige Bueckers, Jackie Young, Chelsea Gray, and Aaliyah Boston. You've got the best offensive engine in Clark running the point. You've got two elite shot creators in Gray and Bueckers operating in the half court. You've got a versatile defender in Young who can guard multiple positions. You've got a running center in Boston who can get out in transition, and you've got positional size that works against every team in these qualifiers. None of the opponents have significant size at the 4. You can go small, spread the floor, and let Clark operate in space. You can run pick and roll with Clark and Boston. You can let Gray and Bueckers cook in isolation situations. You can switch everything defensively because everyone in that lineup has the length and IQ to recover. It's the optimal combination of the players on this roster.
Was on the floor last year. The rows got worse when Kalia Copper like back. I like Kara Copper. I don't think she's a bad player. But like, there is no reason, if you are trying to win a basketball game and you are starting Kalia Copper over Paige Bueckers, Caitlin Clark, or Sonia Citron as a 4th or 5th option, there is no logic other than sentiment. Dearica Hamby, if you got what Angel Reese has done to Dearica Hamby when the Sparks.
But they're not going to do it. They're going to play Kalia Copper significant minutes despite the evidence. They're probably going to have Kelsey Plum coming off the bench again, even though Plum was one of the primary reasons they won the gold medal in Paris. Subbing Plum in for Chelsea Gray in the second half of that final was a game-changing decision. France couldn't target her the same way. The defensive dynamic completely shifted, and yet the lesson won't be applied to the starting lineup. This is the same organization that didn't bring a true point guard to the Paris Olympics. Chelsea Gray, who has been a fantastic off-ball player since her injury, who has figured out how to extend her career by playing off the ball for Las Vegas, was forced into a point guard role she no longer fills for her own team. She's been a below-average point guard for 2 years. The Aces don't run their offense through her as a primary ball handler anymore. But Team USA needed her to be 2019 Chelsea Gray, and that player doesn't exist anymore.
A face of sky over the last couple of years would violate the Geneva Convention. Angel Reese has absolutely made a mockery of Dearica Hamby. Dearica Hamby's going to start. And Aaliyah Boston is lucky she's the only thing that resembles a center there. And they're bringing Kiki Iriafen as backup center because Bree Jones got injured. And by the way, Bree Jones would be starting had she not got injured. They would have the ability to start. Like, this is what they're almost certainly going to do. And you just know. This is a team who has the ability, which is crazy to think about, who has the ability to start Caitlin Clark, Paige Bueckers, Jackie Young, Aaliyah Boston, and fuck it, no team has any size at the 4. Start whoever. Start Copper at the 4. Start Chelsea Gray at the 4. You know what? Yeah, start Chelsea Gray at the 4. I'm confident with Chelsea Gray guarding Raquel Carrera.
The frustrating part is that everyone can see this coming. Fans know Caitlin Clark isn't going to start. Media members know the young players are going to sit behind veterans regardless of current performance. Players probably know it too. There's this unspoken understanding that you have to pay your dues before you get significant minutes for Team USA, even if you're clearly one of the 12 best players available. It's the weirdest approach to roster management in international basketball. Other countries play their best players in their best positions. Team USA plays their most decorated players in positions they used to play, regardless of whether that's still their role. The priority isn't winning by the largest margin possible or developing chemistry for future tournaments. The priority is respecting the hierarchy. And look, This team is still going to destroy everyone in these qualifiers. Spain isn't going to beat them. No team in this field has the talent to compete even if Team USA makes suboptimal decisions. They'll win every game by 20+ points, and everyone will point to the results as justification for the approach. But the results in qualifiers don't matter. What matters is whether you're building the right habits and combinations for when you face real competition.
I'm confident, ironically, with Chelsea Gray guarding Dominique Malonga versus France. I would be confident with that. I would actually be confident. If you guys don't know the matchups, Chelsea Gray is a fantastic post defender. We saw it against Natasha Howard, how much Natasha Howard killed Nalissa Smith, but how much she struggled on Chelsea Gray. She's a fantastic post defender. Like, if you start Chelsea Gray at the 4 and you kind of go a bit small ball, you've got the runner, you've got a running center in Aaliyah, you've got a running 2-guard in Jackie Young, you've got the freaking best offensive engine in Caitlin Clark, and you've got the best like half-court two shot creators in Chelsea Gray and Paige Beckers. Like, you don't lose. You have the ability to put that team on the floor, and they're gonna fuck about. Like, if it wasn't for the injury, they were gonna fuck about and put like.
Because here's the reality. International basketball is getting better. France nearly won that gold medal game. They had the lead with 2 minutes remaining. If Team USA doesn't make those substitutions, if they stick with the starting lineup that was getting cooked, France wins, and the gap is only going to get smaller. More international players are coming to the WNBA and improving. More countries are investing in their women's programs. The days of Team USA winning by 40 points in every Olympic game are over. So the question becomes, are they going to adapt before they lose or after? Because right now, all the evidence points to after. They're going to keep starting Chelsea Gray at point guard until a game where she gets targeted defensively costs them a medal. They're going to keep playing veterans over younger, better players until the depth becomes a problem in a crucial moment. They're going to keep prioritizing sentiment over fit until the results force them to change.
Kalia Copper. And the funniest part is they're probably going to sit Kelsey Plum on the bench, despite the fact that Kelsey Plum literally was what you call it. Kelsey Plum was one of their main reasons why they came back in the like subbing in Kelsey Plum for Chelsea Gray for most of the second half. If they didn't do that, they don't win the Olympics. They simply put, do not win the Olympics if they make that decision. France beat them. But yeah, this is an interesting one. But it's funny looking at it because everybody knows they're not going to start. Everybody knows none of the young players are going to start, and it's the weirdest shit ever.
And when that happens, when Team USA finally loses a game they shouldn't have lost, everyone's going to act surprised. Analysts will talk about how nobody saw it coming, how it was a shocking upset, but it won't be shocking at all. The warning signs are already there. The Paris Olympics showed exactly what the problems are. Teams can target specific defenders, teams can exploit mismatches in the starting lineup. Teams can compete with Team USA when the rotations aren't optimized. The solution is obvious. Play your best players in their actual positions, build lineups based on how players fit together right now, and stop making decisions based on what someone did in 2019. Start Jackie Young, Caitlin Clark, and Paige Beckers together. Let them develop chemistry. Let them figure out how to play off each other. Give them the minutes in these qualifiers so they're ready when the competition gets harder. Use Chelsea Gray as the veteran leader off the bench who can run the offense when the starters need rest. Play Kelsey Plum in high-leverage situations because she's proven she can deliver in those moments. It's not complicated. Every WNBA coach understands these principles. You play the players who give you the best chance to win right now, and you put them in positions where they can succeed. But Team USA operates differently. Team USA operates on legacy and reputation and paying dues, and that approach is going to cost them eventually. The only question is whether they'll learn the lesson before it happens, or whether we're going to have to watch them lose a game first. Based on everything we've seen, based on how they handled the Paris Olympics, based on how they're approaching these qualifiers in 2025, the answer seems pretty clear. It's going to take a loss, and when that loss comes, just remember we all saw it coming. So here's what I want to know. If you were building Team USA's starting lineup right now, who are you starting? Are you going with the veterans because of what they've accomplished, Or are you going with the best current fit? Because you can't have it both ways. You can't say you want to win and also say you want to honor legacy. At some point you have to choose. Let me know in the comments what your starting five would be and whether you think Team USA is making the right call with their approach. Hit that subscribe button if you want more WNBA analysis that actually breaks down what's happening instead of just repeating the official narratives. Because this conversation isn't going away. If anything, it's about to get a lot more relevant.